The sweet scent of hot chocolate still lingers in the chilling air. Children warmly bundled laugh and play in the streets. A flurry of snowballs passes between them. The entire scene shines and glistens as the sun breaks through the puffy gray clouds. Beneath their feet, a wet slush splashes. Winter has yet to pass, but things are heating up. Little do they know that their ammunition is fleeting. Each snowball could be their last, as the snow thaws. Welcome back to another episode of the Ink Table Podcast, a Lorcana podcast where a group of fellow Illumineers gather around the metaphorical ink table and share their table talk with you. So if you enjoy lore, art, a sense of community, comedic banter, or all things Disney, then pull up a seat and join hosts Dylan Bailey and Preston McNair as we discuss the release of Disney Lorcana's Winterspell and possibly what lies beyond the frozen realm.
Okay. Welcome to the Ink Table Podcast, and welcome to our first episode released since Winterspell has released.
And the snow's actually cold outside.
For real, for now, right? And then, we're supposed to get more this weekend. And again, winter's not over quite yet, but for this momentary brief, the snow has melted. And in this episode, we will be discussing the release of Disney Lorcana's 11th set, some of our notable pulls that we got over pre-release weekend, how those pre-release events went, along with the unique way that our LGS celebrated it. Quick talk about Winterspell's lore, our thoughts on the Lorcana Collector's Guidebooks, and a look at what lies beyond the snow. And with that being said, let's talk about some of those pulls, Preston.
Yep. And before I kick off, I want to give a round of applause to Dylan for holding down the fort recently between my cruise and then my work trip, which if you work in corporate America, you know that a all hands really means like 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. type working hours of meetings. So go Dylan for helping and keeping things rolling here. But also check out all the shorts we've done. So what was that, Dylan? Sorry.
Go team.
Go team. Yeah. So check out all the shorts too. We'll plug it and whatnot too. But yes, those polls. So the first episode of our unboxing series actually went up yesterday. We're recording this on a Saturday. You all are probably seeing this on Monday. But we opened how many boxes? We had John's seal case and Dylan's one box. That was the only box you got, right, Dylan?
Yeah. So, out of the unboxing videos that will appear on the YouTube channel, weekly rollout, again, like you said, one release yesterday, and then we'll have another one release every Friday about 1:30 for the next 5 weeks. So, yeah, we unboxed 5 boxes on camera. You also unboxed a box.
Yep. So we had a total of 6 boxes between all of us. But I guess we'll just go ahead and talk about the pulls because they're going to come out. We'll have it linked in the description. But let's talk about John's hashtag cracked case, my guy. What was up with that?
I don't know. It was unbelievable. I guess we could go ahead and spoil.
Yeah, why not?
Spoil everything. Let's see. So 4 boxes, 3 enchanteds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 epics, and 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 legendaries out of 4 boxes.
And you pulled an enchanted in 3 of your 4 boxes.
Right.
Yes.
Yep. 3
I
of the 4
think that's the big
boxes
thing there.
enchanted. Yeah.
And
was the big thing.
What were they? Do you want to disclose?
Sure. The first one was Eeyore. Well, the first one wasn't Eeyore. It was Colors of the Wind, the song from Pocahontas. Then it was Eeyore, and then I also got the Raging Storm. All of them really nice. I mean, they all looked really good. Yeah, the glitter in them. The raised glitter. I mean, it's if you run your finger over it, you can feel the cut where the glitter goes in.
Yeah.
It was like a
And
box unlike I've ever had before. I've never had a case anywhere near that.
because what was it in Whispers in the Well? You had 2 in your case, and we
Right.
thought that was awesome.
Yeah, we thought
And
that was broke, you know.
and also, you're not the only one, because Austin inside our Discord in the Collector's Corner also had 3 Enchanteds in their case, right? Am I
Yeah.
hallucinating? Yeah.
No, you're right. And I think I'm seeing a couple of more like that. And I don't know if this is something we're going to see more often, because we're also seeing at the same time, we're seeing cases that still have 0 enchanted, similar to what I got in Winterspell last year. And there's still people having that.
Right.
So that goes back to pull rates are not guaranteed. And
Random.
even though we have said, hey, this is what John's unboxed, tune into those unboxing videos, because man, those moments where I don't think we were ever expecting 2, much less 3. And the videos itself and the moments that we had together there, sitting around an actual physical table, they were pretty hyped. Like,
Yeah,
They're mini
yeah.
podcast episodes. Like, we talk about the new mechanics, some of the rule changes. Like, they're literally mini podcast episodes. So even if you can't watch it, still put it in the back. I mean, I know it's just on YouTube, so if you have a YouTube Premium, then you got background. But yeah, I mean, they're mini podcast episodes. It was awesome. It was 9 in the morning. You know, we carpooled up, and we had pre-release. But yeah,
you want to see us get
John's luck has
excited.
expired here.
Yeah.
John's luck has expired here.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Dylan.
Yeah, so I had 1 box, did not get an enchanted from that box. I'll be honest, I don't even remember how many legendaries and stuff that I pulled from that 1 box. Did record that one. So I mean, I'll see whenever we post that or I edit that video. But I did end up getting an enchanted at our first pre-release event we went to as a prize pack. So not necessarily in my 6 packs that I use to build my deck. After the event, when prizes were handed out, I did receive the Elsa Ice Artisan enchanted.
You're so Joe Cool about it. Like, you open it up, you flash it, you're like, hey.
I mean, you've talked about it in the past. It's like when you only get 1 box and you only get so much product, we're not over here pounding through product like some people are. We just can't afford it, especially whenever I have 4 people in my household playing. It's one of those things that you just want to get the chip off your shoulder and be like, okay, cool, it's done. We have 1 enchanted. This memory, this moment, this will be the 1 card that reflects this particular time, this set. It was done. I didn't have to worry about it for the rest of the weekend.
Yep. It's nice to commemorate the set. That's what I've always said.
And for you, Preston, your box.
Yeah, so we just did, I say we, me and my wife, we just did 1 box. I did 2 in Whispers in the Well. I wanted to join in with the boys in Whispers in the Well and buy another box while the wife was out of town. But we just got 1 box in a trove. I can't tell you how many legendaries and stuff like that, but I'll briefly tell the story. So our thing is, after our first pre-release on Friday, we usually get Arby's or just something else. We get something, we go back, we watch a Disney film, a franchise that's come to the game, and we open up our box at like midnight, and then my poor wife has to work the next morning because she never gets Saturdays off on pre-release weekend. So we're sitting there watching Pocahontas, and we were going to wait until the next day, and I was like, let's just open it. It's going to take 15 minutes. Let's just open it. And if you know my wife, she opens her packs in a very reckless way.
Yeah, she's
What
got
she
that
will
card
do,
trick. It's
she does
like,
the card trick. Yeah. So
yeah,
I just have a stack of cards here, and she'll open up the pack. And what she'll do is she'll open it up upside down. She'll take the marketing card and set it down. And then this card is the enchanted or the fancy slot, and she'll just whip it down on the mat or whatever. So we're sitting there, and she does that, and then I see this white. I didn't even look at the full card. I saw the white swirl, and I was like, I can't even recreate the noises I was making. Like, truly,
like a
iconic
fish out
Moana.
of water struggling to breathe.
Yeah, like she I think she said that she knew it was iconic, but she was reinforced by my reaction. Like, so we were on the couch. I was like in the floor, grabbing onto the couch like a cat hanging off the side. I was like, like just pure crazy. What a fun memory. My wife has had the magic hands because she pulled the Beast in Fabled. I feel like she pulled something last. I can't remember. And then yeah, so she just whips out this iconic Moana. We have a dedicated short up on it, so go check that out because we talk about the art behind that, the paper cut design. Leslie Strock is the illustrator. Actually helped lead the paper cut design we see on all the Enchanteds. Um, and we actually got John and Dylan's reaction to it. I had that thing in a sleeve, in a magnetic hard shell, wrapped in bubble wrap in a box the entire weekend. Um, but we talked about in the short, and I know John has both the digital rendering and the best photo that I could get of it IRL, but I think our consensus is that the digital rendering does not do it justice.
No, absolutely not. Maybe on the app itself, but I know on the website in their new photo gallery that they have, you can't really see all like the lore foiling behind it, where the lore pips and stuff pop up
Yeah,
that we've seen in the past with other iconics. They are there. They're just hard to see on that photo gallery. There's Goofy falling
there's Goofy
again.
again.
It's always Goofy. But
Yeah.
besides that, I mean, it's got. Does it have the glitter foiling too?
I don't think it does. I could be wrong. If it's there, I'm not seeing it, but I don't think it
That
does. I think
metallic, it does have like that metallic foiling that we've seen in the past, like with out of the ones we've seen in person, we've seen the Mickey, right? And it had that red metallic glimmer or shine just in like pops all over it. And then what do we see? Ariel? I
yes.
think it was
Yep. Mhm.
Ariel. She was the same way. And now seeing your Moana, that icy looking blue throughout the card, just popping up everywhere, including on Pua's head and stuff, really, really shines.
Yeah. And it's Moana in a realm that she normally wouldn't be in, water, ocean, beachy, and she's in this frozen landscape. So um, yeah, it just a really cool moment. I'm glad it happened. My wife and I, our luck is gone for the year. That means anything in Wilds Unknown is not going to happen. But it goes back to what Dylan said. Like you buy a one-off box, and that's your only product, and then you have one of the two chases. So really, really fun moment. I'm glad I could share with our locals and with John and Dylan. Uh, and yes, it is currently being graded. Like that was the first thing my wife said. She's like, we need to get this thing like properly like protected and authenticated. We're like, yeah. So we'll share results of that in the Discord inside a later date. But Winterspell happened, but we kind of hinted to it inside our last episode. But something special really happened on Saturday of our pre-release weekend.
I think it was pretty special. I mean, it
Pretty
was,
pretty freaking cool.
yeah. So yeah, on Friday night we did go to the sister store as per usual for that pre-release when pre-release actually like happens for the first time. Then on Saturday we go to our home store, our home LGS, the boardroom in South Charleston, West Virginia, and we were extremely fortunate with the fact that the store owner actually came to us probably about a month or so ago, I'd say, and he's
Yeah,
like, "Hey, there's this thing happening. Our distributor who distributes product has decided that they are going to put on a decorating contest where they want it themed around Winterspell or just winter in general, and he invited us to decorate the store and kind of gave us leeway to just be like, here as a community. And this wasn't just a ink table thing. This was our local Lorcana
everyone.
community. Everyone can come together, and he's like, hey, if you guys want, feel free to do this. And by golly, I think we did.
Kayla, our fantastic store manager on Saturday, she was just like, "Okay, go for it!" Like, and she was equally
Do what you
involved
got to
too.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh, we had snow. I mean, it truly did look like Elsa came in and just cast a winter spell everywhere and froze over our entire LGS along with the realm of Lorcana. And we have a dedicated short up for that too, where you can check out and see some behind the scenes stuff or a closer look at what actually transpired and took place. We had spray, like, I guess it's fake snow or like frosted snow all over the storefront. We had giant Lorcana cards, which were really cool to make and really fun to make. And we had a Tinkerbell for sure that me and my wife made that we actually gave to the store so that they can reuse it when Set Championships rolls around. So it kind of doubles up Winterspell release, but also Set Champ release since you get the Tink there. We had an entire hot chocolate stand. So everybody that came got like free hot chocolate, and we had like the giant Piglet, who has like his
Cupcakes.
little cocoa stand. Yeah, it just ice crystals and snowflakes hanging from the ceiling that Preston had to climb up and hang. The rest of
I
us
had
were
to
too
take an oath
short.
not to sue the store in case I fell.
It was just really, really fun. And shout out to our LGS for trusting us to
Yeah.
represent their store and represent their business in a way like that. Of just saying, hey, yeah, it's go ahead, do what you have to do, have fun with it. We trust you guys.
And also Ripley as well with the OG
Oh my
Pocahontas
gosh.
stickers. Like, just whip
Yeah,
that out of their
OG
inventory.
Pocahontas stickers. Man, I don't know if I have any of those next to me.
They're
It was
somewhere.
crazy. So Ripley, who you may have seen if you follow the podcast for a while, and watched the first unboxing video, for one, played a huge role in getting all three of us matching playmats to celebrate our 1 year anniversary at the ink table. Was on your team whenever we did our last event at the store with our theme night that had Disney
Oh,
trivia,
yeah.
and you and Ripley actually won Disney trivia. And Ripley was the first person to win our um I don't even know what you want to call it, or the curator's
Curator
little
storyline.
puzzle, yeah, within the our Discord, which could be coming back soon. Just saying. But either way, Ripley brought in some OG Pocahontas stickers, which I'd never seen before, and I guess the stickers were like from different
John probably
scenes
has.
throughout the movie and stuff. John probably
Oh
has.
yeah, I
Man,
saw
we
them.
gotta quit picking on John.
They came out when the movie came out. I was in college. I remember.
And even though we were there for Lorcana, they also brought some OG Hunchback and Notre Dame CG packs, which I didn't know that existed, and decorated the store with posters. So we had some OG prints from A Christmas Carol and Fox and the Hound.
Probably my favorite part of that evening was one, we had a fantastic group. We had some new faces attend as well, which is
Yeah.
huge. Because again, we are in rural-ish West Virginia. Not everybody's playing Lorcana, but we've kind of had a very consistent group. And anytime we can get new people into the game is always great. But what I loved about that is also Valentine's Day. So you had a lot of couples. Obviously, you could tell they were coming in on date night, buying their boyfriend or girlfriend Pokemon packs, but they walk in and just see the store transformed for Lorcana, and like just people maybe who have never visited the store before were helping themselves to hot chocolate and cupcakes, and they see the art. So like I don't know, that was probably my coolest thing, just watching those people walk in and be like, like you could just tell they're like, oh, like what's going on here. So it was
My
it
two
was
things my two things with that is one, gosh, I hope we didn't set the bar too high for all these new faces and newcomers. Because that was an awesome event, and I hope that they don't expect that every week. As much fun as we have every week, that we put a lot into that. And secondly, the prizing. The prizing for this actual contest that comes from the distributors, and I don't understand how this works because I'm seeing more than one distributor have this, not just the one that our LGS uses, but I've seen online that there are multiple distributors doing the same thing. The winning stores, and there'll be 20 winning stores for each region, I guess. They will receive 2 booster box displays for the store to use at a later date for different events, whether it just be handing them out as extra prize packs or whatever. But we will also receive 40 copies of the new seasonal Stitch promo.
which again seems to be a big mystery on how to get these promos every now and then if you listen to our last episode. um
Because
Yeah.
these were
You
what
know,
there are initially these promos or the seasonal promos are said that you were supposed to receive them from Ravensburger hosted events. Yeah,
yes.
in quotes. Meanwhile, you
In
didn't
quotes.
get the
In quotes.
Jasmine at DLC Richmond.
Not DLC. So no, it was fun. Very, very thank you. Dylan and Cassidy really spearheaded the creative side of that. John and I were kind of just like, let us know what you need, boss. Like, so it was really fun. And who knows, maybe we can go jungle like all what is it? Jungle cruise for Wilds Unknown. No, I'm not even going to
Yeah,
manifest
have vines
that.
up everywhere. Don't put that in my head.
That seems like a hazard. Let's talk about actual gameplay wise because we did two pre-release events and best of three. As we normally do after a pre-release event. Dylan, how did you do? What were your notable polls?
So I went 3-0 at our first sealed event. 2-0 really because my first game I had a bye, but on record 3-0. The pulls were decent. I mean, I don't really know what to say whenever it comes to this set. Every time I opened at both events, I was like, you looked over at me the first time. You're like, how'd you do? I was like, I don't know. But I think sealed is so fun because you're just taking all of these cards and hodgepodging them together to create these combos or unique situations that you otherwise wouldn't be able to get by taking all these cards together. I will say underdog ability was huge. I still
That
don't
was
know.
different.
I still don't know or how well that underdog ability will play out in normal play. But in a sealed event where it was all in Winterspell, I ended up getting like 6 underdog cards in that first sealed event, and I chose to go second every chance that I could because
Mm,
I knew that I had all of those to fall back on. Whereas, like, it was kind of a detriment if I did play first because then I'm getting stuck with a bunch of 2 cost characters where I had built my deck around having a bunch of 1 drops, but also having those 2 drops that could be played on turn 1 instead.
right.
I will say, see, the second day, I went 2-1. I did lose my last game, which I was really fun game. My MVP card, or one of my MVP cards, because I think me and you share one, but
We
one
did.
is the Sarabi. What is she? Something protector,
Protecting the
Pridelands
pride.
protector, protecting the pride. This is a amber card. Again, don't know how much play a lot of these cards will see outside of sealed events like this. Which again, let's show off. This is the reason we do this segment, right? Is to show off and give love to certain cards that you're not necessarily going to see every day. Whenever you go to play actual like competitive Lorcana or core or even in Infinity, I don't think these will necessarily appear. But Sarabi Protecting the Pride is a 4 cost inkable Amber card. This is another one of those Wendy's cards. She's a 4 for 4 who only quest for 1, and her ability, Fearsome Snarl, allows her to exert to give chosen opposing character -4 strength until the start of your next turn. And I think that this was just another one of those cards that is a Swiss Army knife. And I'll talk about those type of cards all the time because you could exert her, give your opponent's character -4 strength, and go ahead and swing into them, knowing that, hey, you can now survive because you're not going to take damage, most likely, from that challenge. Or if you're heavy questing, you could go ahead and quest your characters, use Sarabi's exerted ability or exert ability to give your opponent -4 strength, knowing that, hey, now if you want to challenge me to get rid of some of these characters that might quest for 2 or 3, you're not even going to be able to take them out because you don't have the strength to do so now.
And I think it's important to note too that, and we saw this in the data between Knives, Nerd Corner, Be Our Guest. A lot of the more, I'm going to say, impactful cards in this terms of new abilities really lie between the 3 to 5 ink range. In Winter Spell, there really are no big air quote bombs, to say the least. There's no, I mean, yes, you have things like the legendary Elsa, the Scrooge McDuck, but like those are very conditional cards. They need something else in order to resolve their ability. So this is the first set we've had in a while where the 4 ink slot was probably the most impactful. We see this with Sarabi, Wendy's 4 for 4, and you had this as well. So this seal, I feel like I had to kind of adjust my thought process. Is like, okay, I need to focus on a more lower curve, similar with Whispers in the Well, but a lot of these more vanilla, I don't want to say repeat abilities, but abilities we've seen before existed in this 4 ink slot.
Yeah, I think Raina Jafar, looking back in it, the gameplay felt slower in sealed events. So you kind of had to stretch the game out and have more of a high end curve to where you could play those cards. Whispers was kind of the same way. It sped up a little bit, but I still remember playing like the 6 cost Little Johns to finish games and stuff in Whispers in the Well. This one, the game sped up. And I don't know if it was because that underdog ability existed. So it kind of like maybe that's what it is, where you had so many underdog characters and the boost mechanic itself speeds up in this game. And I think that's something that I don't know if we've talked about or not, but the boost mechanic, for the most part, in Whispers, when they introduced it, it felt slow. You think about cards like Flynn Rider and stuff that sees a lot of play, and I know that you built around the boost mechanic all last set. But in sealed, you play it, and then you have to wait for that character or whatever for it to have enough ink to boost it. Whereas there were a lot of combos placed this set specifically from the cards from A Christmas Carol that allowed you to cheat out boost without actually having to pay ink to do so.
Yeah, it was, and we see a little bit more gas thrown onto the boost ability compared to Whispers. So again, we don't know how long that's gonna really stick around. It could it be gone by Wilds? We really don't know. We don't know.
But speaking of
And
boost, I think that kind of
yeah,
rolls us into your pick.
and this is our shared pick, by the way. So Dylan and I
Yeah, I mean
both.
this card's amazing.
I remember towards the end, and I remember looking over to Dylan, flashing this card up, going, "Yeah." And Dylan's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, yeah.
This Rapunzel, Steel Rapunzel, Ethereal Protector, 3 cost uninkable, 3 strength, 3 willpower, questing for 2, boost 2. And whenever this character quests, if there's a card under her, chosen opposing character can't challenge until the start of your next turn. This disrupted our opponents so severely. And whenever you think about, like, board states in Lorcana, you will inevitably reach a top deck situation. Having a strong board presence is probably one of the most important variables in sealed. And being able to kind of pseudo protect your own characters was huge because it allowed you to make the trades on your clock. It allowed you to control when certain characters went away. What I really liked about this is that you didn't need to constantly boost her. If she was whenever you boost this character, chosen character can't challenge, this card, we probably wouldn't be talking about this card. But you just needed to boost her once, and then every time she turns sideways, you're fantastic. So, um, will she see play weekly? I don't know. But I love the art too because she's taking this frozen frying pan and attacking the vine, which is very fitting for kind of like the lore and everything we're going to be talking about. And she also has an epic version, which is pretty cool. But that's how I played this card. Dylan, is that kind of similar to how you played Rapunzel?
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely how I played her, and then combining her with that Sarabi, being able to play Rapunzel turn 3, Sarabi turn 4. You talk about disruption. You were really disrupting because it's like, okay, cool. Now I can disrupt 2 characters because now this one can't challenge, and I'll let that one challenge, but we're gonna go ahead and use that Sarabi's effect to where it can challenge if you want, but it has -4 strength. So just the disruption for sure. I think that's a great way to call it. You definitely have to get a board presence or a board state to where you are commanding and in charge, to where you want to be able to continue to quest. Because Rapunzel, let's say you're playing a game and your opponent has a better board state than you, ability doesn't really matter to an extent if you're racing against your opponent and they don't want to challenge you anyways. If they're just all gas, no brakes questing, then it's not that big of a deal. You
Yeah,
definitely have to combine that with like what you're saying of picking your battles and putting the ball in your court of when you're going to challenge and what trades are made and stuff like that in order to really get the most out of this Rapunzel. And I think it's interesting that both of our picks happen to be protectors and princesses.
that's true. But no, so I pulled a couple of her on the first one. I went 3-0 the first night. I didn't see any the second night, and I went 3-0 again. So it was kind of weird to go undefeated because that doesn't happen very often in a sealed format. But that's pretty cool. And it's also worth to note that our shop did 1 pack per win, so you could walk out of there with a maximum of 3 packs for your sealed win.
Oh, that's the other thing we didn't talk about with the Winterspell party is we actually had the side game where we put
Oh
people in
yeah, we had
teams.
a mini game. Yeah.
We did. We had a mini game. So Preston's right. The store did give out 1 pack per win. So if you want a game, you got an extra pack. But at our special party that we had, we actually created like a board game in itself, and it was kind of like the slopes that you see a lot of the cards in Winterspell skiing and snowboarding down. So we had 4 teams that were based around some of the different characters, like the Donald Duck and the snowboarding Mickey and stuff like that. But you helped your team get wins, and for every win you got, your team got to move forward. And at the end, it was kind of like a race. Whichever team finished first or made it the furthest, every person on that team got an extra pack as well.
Yep. It was like basically a race to see how far down the slope you could get, essentially. So that
Yep.
was pretty cool. And shout out to the shop for providing extra pricing.
Extra packs for that.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. And John, your pick.
My pulls are always terrible at sealed. They always are. I never pull anything that I could use. That's why I usually go 0-3. I went 0-3 both nights. I think I won 1 match each night. So, but for the card that had the most success for me was the Lilo bundled up. She's a steal 2/1/2 during each opponent's turn. The first time this character would take damage, she takes no damage instead. It was kind of cool when I could get that card out. Unfortunately, I only had one of her because if I'd had two, it would have been better. But I only had one. But I liked it because it forces your opponent to usually use 2 characters instead of questing. They're taking 2 characters to try to take her out, and that seemed to really foul everything up. But I would have all gas, no brakes till about 12 or 13 lore, and then it would fizzle out. So, but she did come in clutch a lot of times because, it really fumbled everybody else up who was wanting to quest, and they couldn't because they wanted to take Lilo out. So that slows them down. But I could see this card getting regular play at this point. I mean, it's pretty decent.
Spoiler, it's in the Amber Steel list that you'll see.
I'm
it's
sure.
all over the
I'm sure. I haven't worked on the Amber Steel deck, but it's going in there for sure. So
It's probably one of my favorite arts in the game because you have Lilo in her normal attire, but then she's wearing socks with her sandals, and she's got her regular attire with all these coats and stuff like that. And then you have the snowman on the back, which has kind of become like a meme in the Lorcana Discord. I forget what they've named him, but I think it's a sticker in the Lorcana Discord. But really fun art.
What's
And
the flavor text on that card?
my big dumb sister. Oh, so go ahead, John.
Oh,
I'll let you
fine.
narrate. You got better voice.
My big dumb sister said I had to wear warm clothes, so I took all of them. She reminds me of Ralphie's brother on A Christmas Story.
Very smart aleck remark. It reminds me of Lilo early in the movie whenever like Nani comes home and she's just like pretty much got the house blocked off, the doors are shut or nailed shut and stuff. Just like a little smart aleck kid.
Yeah. So we've talked about what we've done for pre-release, how we did, and something that I'm really excited to talk about because I know John has a lot of thoughts with this. But I think it's important to address kind of the elephant in the room. So with Disney Lorcana,
Not Dumbo and not Madam Mim. Like,
Yeah, not Dumbo, not Madame Mim. But, obviously in Lorcana, trading cards are printed. But folks, we have noticed a very dramatic increase of quality control issues with this set. And I actually want John to kick off this conversation. So John, what's the first thing that you're seeing that we can kind of dissect here?
Um, well, what I find interesting, and I'm going to try to do this while talking with.
I can lead it if you want, but
No,
I know you have thoughts.
it's fine. I've got thoughts. No, you're fine. One thing that we really didn't notice in the heat of the moment during that case is anything above rare. There was a good chance that the corners were going to be damaged on it. Most of the epics had damage on them straight out of the box, and I'll put a picture up here of them. I know you guys won't be able to see it, but they'll see it on screen. And we just weren't paying it, of course, not paying attention, and then when I'm sorting at the end of the night, you could kind of see in the stacks of cards the ones that were kind of misaligned, miscut. They had a white edge on them, which I don't care so much about common, uncommon, even anything from up to legendary. I play, it's fine. But the first box, because I opened 5 boxes. The TikTok box didn't have any damage to them. Most of the cards in the case had damage to them. And then after looking at it, even the Pocahontas, or the Colors of the Wind enchanted had damage on it, on the corner, on the top corner. And, at first I thought, well, maybe I was opening packs too rough. I have big hands. I understand. I sometimes manhandle things, but
we're really careful.
Yeah, I try to be careful. But yesterday,
except for that one genie that one time.
Well, yeah, we don't discuss about that. we don't talk about cheating. But I went to a game store in Coraopolis, Pennsylvania. Shout out to Forge. I think it's Forge Factory is what it's called. That place is flipping awesome. If you live in Pittsburgh, you need to go over to Coraopolis. Even though I say go to Coraopolis, it's nothing against Coraopolis. It's a very small town.
Big Pittsburgh CCQ coming up, right? Or
yeah,
big,
yeah. Uh-huh.
Something. Go check it out while you guys are out there.
Yeah, it is a card shop in a old municipal building, like where they had the mayor's offices and stuff like that. So it's all marble, concrete, stone. It was really cool. The entire upstairs is where the fire department was at. That's where they have the store at. So they just roll open the back doors when the weather's nice, and the whole back wall is just open air. Really cool. Anyway, I might have bought another box while I was there. I say this very low because I don't want the wife upstairs to hear. But anyway, I bought it for science. For science. And so I opened that box and I pulled a foil Todd and I think 3 epic cards. This time, instead of opening the packs proper, I cut the top of them like we did last set on the unboxings, just to see if maybe I'm bending them when I open them up. Nope. Sure enough, all 3 epics in that box had damage on them. All on the same corner. All the damage looked the same. And even the foil Todd had damage on that corner in the exact same spot as well.
It's extremely consistent damage.
It is consistent damage, which is just odd. It's just odd to me. But even like the legendaries out of my box, they all had, not all of them, but 2 or 3 of them had the exact same damage mark. Whether it was foil or regular, it didn't matter. But a lot of it was the foil. I think the Moana foil was the one that had damage on it, and the Donald Duck foil was the one that had damage of it. So it seems to be the foils that have the most potential of getting damage to them, and I don't understand why it doesn't make sense at this stage.
And that's not the only issue, because I don't know if you have a picture of the roller marks, but
No.
I think you may have mentioned it, but the is that the right terminology?
Yeah.
There's roller marks in
On
the
the
foils?
foils, yeah. Most of the foils in that case had roller marks on them, and I wanted to go back and get pictures of them, but I didn't. And I didn't pay attention to the box I bought yesterday or the day before yesterday if those foils had roller marks on them or not. But yeah, I mean, you can. The picture that I have up right now is that stack of all the legendaries and stuff turned sideways, and you can see the damage on all the corners, and it aggravates me because, especially with the enchantments, it's one thing with all the other cards. I don't buy Lorcana cards to sell them or whatever. I buy them to play with is what I buy them for. But I feel bad also if it's somebody needs a card and I have an extra one of them. Oh, here you go. Unfortunately, the corners are all tore up on it, but that's just the way it came. It's like, I mean, it is what it is, but I don't understand why at this point of the game, that stage of the game where 11 sets in, we're having more and more off-center cards. There was a ton of those. If you go back and watch those unboxing videos while we're looking at them, while I'm going through, there are a lot of off-centered cards that came out of that case.
And I was getting ready to bring up my Olaf because I think I provided a picture of the Olaf in the box that had the iconic Moana. You could tell that the Olaf was very miscut. And to our knowledge, the iconic Moana is fine. There's no damage. It appears to be center. I looked at like a comparison of the rendering, but it's bad whenever my wife, who plays Lorcana, but she doesn't study, like I say study, but she, like, we know a lot about this game, and even she was like, this is really bad. Like, this is really noticeable. But one thing we're noticing is that it seems to be on a very box by box basis.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan, did your box have any issues whenever we opened it a week ago at Saturday at John's?
Like John said, we were so in the moment of unboxing, and I think mine was the last one we opened. So we opened that pretty quick, and I really didn't pay attention to it. And by this time, I'll be honest, those cards are mixed in with all the cards we got from pre-release and our trove and everything else. I will have to go back and edit that video and see. And again, this is what I want to say. There are a ton of posts all over the internet right now of quality control issues. The conversation that we are happening is not to light torches. It is not bringing. We're not even discussing everything that we're seeing online. Everything that we are talking about right now and the pictures that we are showing are our own photos, our own images, and our own experiences that we had during pre-release. And it's not just one box or one case, but John's case and your box came from the same store, right? But John also, for science, went to a completely different region.
Yeah.
Got a different box and was seeing the same issues. Same issues. We spend too much money on this product. I don't care who you are. I don't care if it's a common all the way up to an iconic. I don't care if it's a booster pack or whatever you want to call it, all the way up to a case. This is not fair to the Illumineers. And we know, or I think we're smart enough with this conversation to say that this isn't directly on Ravensburger. That whatever is happening within the factories, somewhere along the way. Like, this is happening in factories somewhere. We talk about foils and about how it seems to be happening on the foils more often. I go back and I reflect on a lot of our unboxings that we've had in the past. This started when the foiling changed. When the foiling changed, I believe in either Arcasia's or Reina Jafar or whatever, and they went from putting foil over top of just the characters or the glimmer to doing it over top of the entire card. That's when the roller marks started.
Yep.
And the roller marks have continued to just get worse and worse and worse. At the end of the day, we absolutely love this game. We want to see it succeed, and we want everybody to be happy. The things that they are changing, that they're adding, right? We have all these new rarities. We have these new borders, whether it's our League borders, DLC borders. They're all amazing. The new Glimmer foils, Iconics, all of it, it's awesome. But at the end of the day, it kind of feels like a distraction at some point. Like, ooh, look over here, because you still have to solve and fix the main issues with miscuts and misprints and things not getting done right. With that being said, I think it's really important for, if Ravensburger's not going to do it themselves, it's important for us and it's important for the community to understand and know that, one, there is a replacement policy that does exist. And I know many have not heard about this. And there's a lot that goes into it. Preston, you can help me out with this one a little bit in case I forget anything. But the replacement policy can be found online on the website, where it actually goes over the details of what's included and what's not. Commons and uncommons, even if they are a foil, which that's where we're seeing a lot of the damage, will not be replaced. The only cards they will replace are rare and higher. Financially, I get it. Those are the ones that are the most valuable. Not even going to complain about that. But then, in order to actually get your cards replaced, you have to have a receipt of purchase. This is important so everybody knows going forward with any of the cards or packs and stuff that you open. If you happen to run into issues, you have to have a receipt of purchase from wherever you got it. And then even within replacement policy, it kind of sounds like they're expecting LGSs or places that you purchase it to be the ones to replace it first and foremost. Because it's like, if that place you bought it did not replace it, then you have to have that receipt of purchase. You have to have the packaging that it came out of. That way it has the codes and stuff on the packaging. What else?
Yeah,
Is there something else there?
real quick. So yeah, so on that bit, because I'm reading the policy too, it says if you believe the above the standards are not met and we're unable to exchange it at your place of purchase, that's a little odd to me. Like
How
I
would you
would
do
never
that?
expect.
Yeah,
I wouldn't expect
They're
our local
expecting you
game
to
shop
show the damaged product to your LGS or whoever it is and being like, hey, look, this product's damaged. Will you replace it?
But are they going to replace
And
an iconic one? Like they can't just pull a legendary
right. They're
card
not
out
going
and
to.
say
They're not
they're
going
going
to
to replace
spend money and order one. Buy one third party just to replace yours. Because then what are
give
they
you
going to?
another
How are they
pack
going to
or
get
something.
them? Yeah. I mean,
Right.
I
But
don't
here's
know.
the thing: even if it was the pack, like because John did this too, like usually if you looked at a pack and you saw crimping, there's a good chance that the cards are going to be crimped on the inside. But
Right.
we're not seeing that. So if you receive a booster pack from your local game shop and it's in perfect condition, I wouldn't expect the LGS to replace the cards on the
No.
inside.
The wording there is just strange. And while you have that
It's
pulled up,
strange.
Preston, it says if the standards are not met. I think there's a list right there, right above that, of the standards that they're expecting.
Yeah. So the standards are just briefly the appearance that has never been played with little to no wear, no deep nicks, scratches, or cuts, no majorly bent or miscut edges, only minor instances of spots, and no issue being played with being unremarkable or unrecognizable compared to any other card when placed in a card sleeve.
Some of those, specifically the miscut parts or the spotting or the deep scratches and nicks, I think falls into the category of the cards that we are showing off and talking
Mm-hmm.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of those foils had, creases in them too. Not just roller marks. Some of them had like deep scratches on them, like somebody took a coin and just kind of pushed on it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So they say that if the above standards were not met and you were unable to exchange it at your place of purchase, you may submit a ticket via their contact form. So not only do they need the receipt with the store name visible, you need your information, and you also need a photograph of the damaged card itself, but also in missing or they say that in some cases missing cards may be considered eligible for product replacement. Before we can review a missing product inquiry, we require a clear photo of the back of your product's packaging. So they explicitly state that they want that for missing cards, but I think a kind of a general rule of thumb is that they kind of want this anyway, is my understanding. I could be wrong in
Right.
that. But yes, and also replacements are only supported up to 6 months following a set's release.
Right.
Yeah. So keep your receipts, keep your packaging and stuff until you've opened your packs, looked at all your cards. That way, because I think right now, if you go to that form, it's only backing cards back to maybe the Lilo and Stitch or the Lilo gift box that came out. If you go to actually fill that form out.
And I also think I haven't looked, but I'm pretty sure that the case box has the number on it that will match the numbers that's on the boxes, that will not match the numbers that's on the pack. So I would think if you had at least proof of one of those numbers, whether it's a picture of the case, a picture of the box, or the picture of the pack number, that should be justifiable enough that they would have enough information to, be able to track it. I mean, it's 3 times redundancy.
Yeah.
I would think that would be enough.
So I've had a little interaction with Rochelle on what is her title? Community, and she's the president of community engagement at Ravensburger.
Something like that.
We love Rochelle. Rochelle's amazing. She does an amazing job on the Discord and on Twitch every week in the Lorecast. Either way, Rochelle Brady has confirmed that whenever you submit this information, and you actually go to that contact area or form for the replacement policy, that they can backtrack. I can find it here, that they can trace production records to verify factory errors. And I think that's the important conversation.
Like recalled bread and milk and stuff like that.
Right. There's always a number on it. Yeah, there's always that weird number on a product that you get and you don't know what it is. It's a tracking number for what. It'll tell you what factory it came out of, what day it was made, what time it was, everything. All that. They timestamp all that stuff. I'm going to try it with my Pocahontas. I'm going to give it a shot.
You should. That's an enchanted. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's an enchanted card that's damaged. And you can see in our unboxings as they roll out. I don't think it was the first one where you got the Pocahontas.
No, it was the second one.
As these
check it out Friday.
As these roll out, you can see you can see how we open them, and I think as we were looking back and reflecting on those videos as we were editing them or saw them in the Google Drive and stuff, we saw the damage. We were like, how did we miss this?
Yeah.
This lighting. How did we miss this whenever?
We were just caught up in the moment. We were too busy talking, looking at the cards. We weren't paying attention to quality, and then, it was, and then as you watch the other ones, as we get more amazed of how, how the boxes were, it's like we were not paying attention to anything other than what was coming out of that box.
Yeah. I think
but they did confirm that they are keeping an eye on this right now, that throughout pre-release and the actual big box retail release, they're keeping an eye on this to see how bad it actually is, and if at some point they feel like they need to have a conversation about it, that they will communicate more about this.
Yeah, and I think to put a lid on it, I think it boils down to a few things. One is, imagine somebody buying a pack for the first time, or they're getting into it, they pull an enchanted and then the corner's bent. Whether or not you go to resell or keep it in collection, it still sucks. But I think in conclusion, we know it's not Ravensburger. Ravensburger doesn't have printers set up in Seattle and other areas printing cards. They're using other third parties. But the conclusion I think on this is that this is the worst set in terms of quality control issues. But it has me asking and kind of wondering, why did these go out? Why was this not miscuts and misprints are not new. They are just a lot more rare than the frequency in which we're seeing them now.
Well, I'll throw this out to you. What little bit of research that I did, Google. I found there's only really 2 major printing companies doing cards right now, trading cards in the country. There's 5 total, but the 2 major ones do Pokemon, and they also do Lorcana, and they also do Magic and stuff like that. We're at a real boom right now with dozens of TCGs. Is it possible that these printer places are just overwhelmed and they're just cranking out stuff as fast as they can? And, I know the one company that the Pokemon company owns that is printing Lorcana cards is building a new factory in North Carolina to alleviate some of that. But that won't be ready for another 2 years. They just broke ground on it like 2 weeks ago or something like that, or a month ago or something. But anyway, is it an issue of we're cranking out sets too fast? Should they have not done 4 years? Should they have went 3 a year? Would slowing it down increase the quality? I don't know. I mean, look at Pokemon. They bring out new sets, every month and a half, 2 months? I mean, the new set just came out this week.
Right.
But they're coming out of their factory. They're taking priority in that factory. I guarantee it. It's their factory, even though they're getting paid to print out other companies' cards. But I don't know. It's
sure. And even if Lorcana did slow down, that doesn't change the fact that those factories are still producing at a crazy, massive rate right now for multiple TCGs. So even if we slow down, it's still going to be the same rate, if not more, for those other TCGs because they now have less to compete with.
Yeah, because I don't know.
It
checking
could be that. It could be the different foilings.
Yeah, I was checking that those ones in North Carolina that Pokemon owns. They crank out Pokemon. They crank out Magic. They crank out One Piece. They crank out Star Wars. They crank out Fable or Lorcana. I mean, that's 5 right there. That one fact. And there's 2 of them, 2 factories, and they're both cranking out all that. That's insane for one company to be cranking out.
We don't really talk about other TCGs like we do Lorcana. Lorcana is our thing, but like we are at an LGS. We're within the TCG community. We hear what's happening with other TCGs as well. One Piece is known to have pristine cards, like absolutely pristine. They grade well. They're worth a lot. You see those getting scalped just as much as Pokemon. So my question is, if we're seeing this, is it just a Lorcana thing? Because I'm not really, again, we're not deep within those other communities like we are Lorcana, but I'm not really hearing a lot or seeing a lot from other community members about their TCGs suffering these same issues.
Yeah,
I'm hopeful this is a thing where it's like, oh shoot, this is happening and it gets remedied in future print runs, but only time will tell for that.
That's kind of why that replacement policy is important, because if they can trace it back, be sure that you are properly using it. That way they can trace back those factory errors and get these solved before Wilds comes out.
Yep. It may be too late for Wilds. Maybe the next set. Maybe. Who knows?
But moving on from that, what do we have now, Preston? Some lore.
This is all you, man. This is the
all
lore.
me.
There's some things happening with Winterspell's lore. I mean, confirming what we already kind of knew.
I mean, we'll keep it brief. For starters, lore cards are back. I know that we were concerned last podcast episode because they had not been revealed yet, but now we know that they do exist. Lore cards are there. I know John's not the biggest fan of them because the way that they're numbered, they don't have like actual numbers. They just have dots up top to tell you which lore card it is.
My old man eyes can't see them real well. That's the problem. Old man eyes.
Let me ask you this: is the order in which you read them important? Because maybe that's why. Like, I don't know. Because
typically it is.
Well,
I don't really. Yeah, I mean, this set, it kind of, I don't know. It's not as important, this set. It's just kind of like some communication or letters being written back and forth between our 3 primary Illuminaires whose story we've followed from the beginning, being Shanze, Martin, and Venturo, because they're all at different parts of the realm right now, communicating back and forth. Glimmers like Archimedes and whoever, almost like the messenger owls in Harry Potter, just sending these messages back and forth to each other. Notably, there are only 9 lore cards this set. Thank goodness, because if we had 20 lore cards per usual, imagine all the little dots up top.
2 layers of dots.
That was in order. Yeah, it's insane. Outside of that, with the story that being told within the lore cards, there's not much there, to be honest. It's just like stuff that we already know. We know Winterspell is happening. They joke around about like some different figgy pudding and stuff and different things happening within like the actual market scene down where like A Christmas Carol is taking place, and you got like characters like Tiana with her her tasty treats and Piglet with his hot cocoa. And then Shanzay is up inside the frozen illuminary. We did get confirmation or further confirmation because it was already confirmed that Elsa was the cause of Winterspell. There were hints at the Vine going forward that the Winterspell surge or storm took place and began at this Vine, which well, we already knew. That's just hints at the future story. Um, I don't know. There's really not much there in the lore cards, but if you do want a deeper dive or look into the lore and the story taking place within Winterspell, how Elsa caused it, the entire timeline of Winterspell, from the beginning of Elsa causing Winterspell all the way to the very end, where Anna, Soothing Sister, actually calms her sister down and kind of like uses like an act of love almost just like in the movie, to calm her sister down, to unfreeze or unthaw all the snow of Winterspell, just like the title of this podcast episode. Then we actually have a new video series up right now called Let's Talk Lore, where you can go and check that out. And it covers the entire story of how Winterspell as a set retells the story of Disney's Frozen. And it's really wonderful how they do that. And they take that original IP or franchise that they have there. And I think I brought it up in that last episode too. It reminds me of Kingdom Hearts a lot of how you take all of these original works and they're able to bend the story, whether it be through Dreamborns or Floodborns, or and take those storyborn versions to tell their own story step by step and just expand on the universe or that realm of Lorcana in general. I'm really proud of it. I'm looking to do some
Or
more in the future, and if you guys have I mean, you guys, you and John, Preston, or just our audience in general, if they have any feedback on that or what they would like to see covered next as people who maybe they don't know the story as much or they're interested in a certain segment, give me some ideas about what you guys wanna see in future iterations of the Let's Talk Lore series. I was really proud of this, and yesterday, um, I actually got a Discord notification on the official Disney Lorcana Discord, and this made me feel so good. And this is kind of important with some future conversations that we're going to have in this episode too. But a member of the narrative team, of the like official Ravensburger narrative team, Chris. Chris has appeared in some narrative main stages, at least two that I know of. I had posted a link to this Let's Talk Lore video in like the story section of the Discord, and he actually commented back on it yesterday. And he said that was a very cool video. One thing that I appreciate was how you tied in the abilities and ability names with the storytelling, which gets overlooked a lot. While we're not always successful, we do try to use those things to help tell the story through the card as a whole. Just confirmation and just a little like pat on the back or recognition from the actual narrative team. And this guy, he's in charge of like majority of the flavor text for all the cards that we see. So having him actually say, "Hey, this was a cool video. I appreciate what you did and the care that you took looking over the entire card as a whole, not just the art, but all of the text, including those ability names." That was really, really touching to have from him, and I appreciate it.
it's
Da,
it's
da.
not like justification, but it's nice to like see somebody acknowledge like again the little things like the ability names because that's one thing that you pointed out to me long before the podcast really was like hey like look not just look at the flavor text but look at the ability names and while yeah it's thematic to the character it also tells the story so it was really cool to see and I'm glad you started that series.
Hoping to keep it going. Okay, but that moves us on to some more. We actually have, or I received the collector's guidebooks. I believe John got them too. Preston, I don't think you purchased them, but I think you were also kind of waiting for to
Yes.
see what they
I
were like.
not that I'm against them, but I was waiting and getting ready to discuss what we're getting ready to talk about. I don't foresee myself picking them up.
I can't complain too much. And let me start this conversation out with saying that I am not your average Illumineer. And that's not a little bit of hubris at all there or anything. It's just I am more devoted into the actual story of Lorcana and the lore more so than what a lot of others are, and I've already dove deep into that story and lore. But these collection guidebooks cannot complain about what they are to an extent. Majority, I forget the actual percentages that we worked out for science and for math or
60
whatever, but
something.
yeah, like 60 some percent of these guidebooks are just pages that we already have in the app of just, hey, here are the cards that you can actually collect. From preset 1 through 4 in the first book, and then like 5 through 8 in the second book. Again, can't complain. These are titled guidebooks or collector's guidebooks, right? So I mean, it is truly. It's not what I
It's good
expected or what I
quality too.
wanted.
It's a good
Oh,
book.
the
Like,
quality, yeah, the book is great. The quality is amazing. I'm not going to deny that. But the part that I will speak upon that I was overall disappointed with is the way that they were advertised. Um, when these were first discussed, it was said that there would be maybe not new art. They said that there would be art and new stories from the narrative team that we have not previously seen. And there's some in there, I'll say. But even John, as somebody who's not as deep into the lore as what I am, I think he even said expected more with the way that it was marketed and the way that was advertised. And maybe that's just us as players, right? We always want more. We're so needy, but there wasn't a lot there. And a majority of the story sections that recap the overarching story were things that were previously on the website already. You won't be able to see it now. But if you go to Disney Lorcana's website, there is a spot there for like your competitive space. It's like a tag up front on the bar that you can click on, and it brings you to all of the DLCs happening, past DLC winners, stuff like that. That was not on there. There was a story section where you could actually click onto it and it would bring you to these different articles and pieces of art or whatever from the art and narrative team that directed you and recapped those stories. And I believe they did it all the way up to Azurite Sea. And then at Azurite Sea, they stopped. For whatever reason, it quit getting updated. So we never got updates any further for Arcasia's Island or Reign of Jafar or anything after that. But that is no longer there. It was completely removed from the website. And I know that you and I have had deep conversations, Preston, about how it feels like this lore and story that they are trying to tell, it almost feels like they are trying to paywall it behind a physical paywall, making it in the books rather than free access on the website where it previously was. I kind of agree with that because to me, there's absolutely no reason as to why that there isn't a free version of all of this still on the website. And that brings me back to Chris because again, Chris is the one who's in charge of the flavor text. This is
we talked
someone who
about this a few
works
episodes ago. The
did.
the disappearance.
Yeah, we did talk about the disappearance, but like that brings me back to Chris because I mean this is something I do have an image of it this time, but he works for the narrative team. He was partially in charge of writing some of these articles, writing the flavor text on the card, and trying to further tell that universal or overarching story that's taking place on the cards to tell that story to Illuminaires so they understand what's going on. He's put a lot into this, and the entire narrative team has. So it was brought up or brought to his attention whenever it disappeared that, hey, this is gone. What's up with that? Is it coming back? Where is it going? So he had no clue that I mean, this is someone for the narrative team. He had absolutely no clue that his work and his team's work and his colleagues' work for the narrative team had even disappeared off the website. And the last update that we actually had on this was on November 25th. He said, "Okay, so I asked the person responsible for the website and they reassured me that the stories are being repositioned on the site. So them being pulled down is temporary. There is a timeline, or there isn't a timeline for when they'll be back up because it is dependent on work and or the holidays. This was in November. So Thanksgiving, Christmas, stuff like that, New Year's time off. We are near the end of February, approaching March, and they are being repositioned still. They are still not on the website. And I think it's very strange that this was November 25th that this was he said all of this. And on the exact same day on the Discord, on our personal Discord, go join the Discord if you haven't already. We were discussing why this was taking down, and I think that I even made a comment about, hey, well, there are these Amazon rumors or leaks are going around that there may be these lore books or guidebooks coming out in the future. And lo and behold, a month later, after Chris posted this about how they were being repositioned, they actually announced the guidebooks 1 month later after
Yeah.
taking it off the website. So it just, even if it's unintentional and they don't mean anything by it, it truly makes it feel like somewhere higher up, and you can't point fingers at the narrative team because they were completely blindsided by it. You don't know who's making these final decisions, whether it's the person in charge of the website or higher up, because they're just being told what to do too. I mean, you know how it works. There's a chain of command. So somewhere higher up, there are decisions being made, and we can say that it's unintentional, but man, does it truly feel like they are trying to paywall all of this into the guidebooks.
And I think the first one, which is sets 1 through 4, I think I'm gonna say was probably the less, because then wasn't there some new stuff, or I say new, but wasn't there a few tidbits in the second one, which is Arcasia's through Range of Far?
Yeah, but again, though, that's because they had, by the time November rolled around or whatever, they had already stopped updating that entire lore section or story section, and so we only got things up to Azerite Sea. So with them not updating it and adding stuff from Arcasia's Island or Rain of Jafar, this was the first time we're seeing it. And I think
Right.
that brings me to the next part, right? That's critical feedback that I've given. Nothing out of the ordinary. Is this product good? For me personally, as someone who had already seen all of that lore or read all of that lore, maybe not. Maybe it's not what I hoped for. But for your average Illuminaire or new player, right? There's so many new players to this game every day who need to recap and catch up. This is still a good product for them. Not gonna deny it, and I can't hate on it too much because since we've started this game, this is the kind of product we've asked for. We've said we need some type of book or graphic novel or something that recaps that overall story, and they finally gave it to us. It's here. So again, these are just complaints coming from someone who has a deeper understanding or has already seen a lot of the stuff coming out that others haven't. Should you still purchase the product? That's up to you. That's up to you and what's important to you. Um, but personally, I will because I'm a dummy, right? I'm a dummy who I need it all. I need every bit of it. And let's say these lore sections or sections do not get repositioned onto the website, as it was said that they would. Then going forward, every one of these books will have new articles and new pieces of art that even I haven't seen yet. For one, and for two, believe that future iterations of these guidebooks will have a brand new promo with them.
At least we hope.
I think we kind of picked that up because there's some new rarities that we didn't talk about in the last episodes.
Yeah. And so was it confirmed that future iterations are gonna get a promo, or are we just, assuming based off of
We're
what we're hearing
assuming
so far?
that, yeah, based upon what we're getting ready to talk about, we
Yeah.
can presume that or make an educated guess that those are some new promos are going to appear within these books.
Yeah. No, to kind of segue into that. No, so we talked all or most of the last episode about the collection quest at Epcot, the Lorcana activations. Just like Dylan said, we didn't have time to talk about this because that episode was already 3 hours long. But inside the collection quest book in Epcot, there are there we go. We got Vanna White. Oh, pretty. But inside this collection quest book, which guided people to collect the cards, what cards you had to collect, about the game itself, there was this understanding rarity section in the book. And basically, again, this event was geared towards collectors, but some of this we've seen before. We have seen the what is it? The film promo, which we have with Zootopia 2. We have the Magical Places promo, and we have the standard promo. But there were some rarities that we haven't really seen before, kinda. Notably, that the organized play logo that's on all the store cards, the organized play cards, that's absent because they wanted this to be geared towards collectors. But never before seen rarities. Uh, Cruises, we've seen this kinda. They were on the Treasure initially. I just got off the Disney Destiny. They were not on there. There's no official Lorcana events. Notably, that the Treasure still sold product, but there was no events, no promos. But the two new ones that we haven't seen before is we have a puzzles rarity, which if you purchased any of the Lorcana puzzles from last year, those just have the standard promo rarity, which you see all the way to the left. But what makes us think that these books are going to have a promo is because there is a new publishing promo as well. We have not seen this before. Whenever the first collection quest took place, we noticed, oh, we haven't seen puzzles, and oh, we haven't seen publishing before. So one can only assume that in these future iterations of these collector's guidebooks, however frequently they put them out, this is a kind of a signal to maybe there's going to be a promo in here. I think it makes sense.
Yeah,
Where else
yeah,
would you put
I
this?
think so too. Right? Unless they come out when the publishing team or the narrative team comes out with something else there. And like again, you're talking about puzzles, had puzzles with promos, but never have we had this puzzle rarity. So again, educated guess, we could presume that new Disney Lorcana puzzles will be released in the near future too at some point.
My thing is, they wouldn't have printed this if these promos were just going to be like a test. That's my thing. I know the cruise promos are probably the most mysterious out of them, and I know we've had conversations about them before, but I don't think they would print it just to say, oh, this 1-2 month test we had in 2024 on the treasure was a thing. I don't know.
Well, they
But
might, because you got to remember those cards are in circulation. So collectors will go
They
out
already
after
exist.
the fact. They already exist. So if somebody goes out and says, "Well, what's this symbol on this
true.
card? Is it real? Is it fake?" Down the road, do you have a reference to go back and go, "Nope, here it is." Even though they may never
So,
do it again. Who knows?
kind of the same for,
But
you got the
I
Gen Con
think
promo.
there yeah. Well, I mean, Gen Con promo, we just have the regular promo
Right.
rarity slot on it, right? But I think going back to the cruises, you say if it ever happens again, I think that this right here alone, just seeing it along with something else, is kind of hope that we very well may actually see these cruise collection quests or these promos with this rarity being distributed in the future at some point.
Yeah. So what was this? There's a QR code in the Illumineers Lounge, right? Inside the Morocco Pavilion. It's like
So I
submit
didn't
feedback.
actually I didn't see this whenever I was there. I'll be honest, I didn't spend a whole lot of time within the actual Illuminators Lounge itself. We went in, we saw it, we got our prize packs, we dipped. There was just so much within Epcot we wanted to get done that day. But later on, I did see that they had these little table toppers with a QR code within it that you can scan that leads you to a Disney survey. And this was not your normal Disney survey about your experience at the parks and about the rides or anything like that. This was specifically a survey about your experience at Epcot with Disney Lorcana, what you participated in, what you enjoyed the most, and most importantly, where you would like to see Disney Lorcana within the parks or Disney experiences in the future. And I think we have it, and there's a list there somewhere if I can pull it up myself here.
And while Dylan's pulling it up,
Yada
Disney
yada.
loves their surveys. So if you've done
They do.
anything Disney related, you are probably inundated with a survey in your email.
Yeah. So it says, where would you be interested in playing Disney Lorcana in the future? Mike, I hope you're listening because these are the type of conversations that we've all had in the past about where we want them in the parks. But it says, where would you be interested in playing Disney Lorcana in the future? At home, of course. I mean, we already do that. Organized events on future Disney cruises. I mean, that's like option one almost right there. Whenever it comes to Disney events,
Right towards the
organized
top.
event, yeah, organized events at Disney parks or Disney Springs, local gatherings, examples being game stores, community centers, or local events, conventions or tournaments, or online communities, which is a whole other subject that we're not even going to talk about here because that'll lead us down a whole other rabbit hole of online communities. But it's so interesting that right up top, they have organized events on Disney cruises.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good signal. It's something, I mean, obviously, we talked in that last episode, we want more consistent, more kind of presences at Disney experiences. So it's hopefully people fill this out and hopefully people let them know where they want it. And probably again, I go back, the cruise stuff is probably the most mysterious of the bunch because magical places is usually tied with the collection quest. So we have consistency where we see those, but again, people are hungry for, I don't know what it is with cruising. What's in the Mickey waffles on the cruise ships that makes people go, oh, I want Lorcana on the cruise ship. Maybe it's just a novelty of like, oh, you're on vacation, I don't want to say stuck on a boat because you were very busy, but it's reassuring because we already have some of this. We already see. Would you call collection quests organized events at Disney parks or Disney Springs? Would that fit
Yeah,
the bill?
I think that's what they refer back to whenever they ask about organized events at Disney parks and Disney Springs. I think that refers to the two that we've had so far, with it being the Collection Quest over at DCA and this one here at Disney World within the Festival of the Arts.
So really, the two new ones is kind of like the online communities, which I mean, that's kind of an because we already have that in a sense anyway. But like the future cruises. So yeah, definitely helpful feedback. If you went and experienced, don't go and pad the numbers and get the QR code just to fill it out. Like genuinely give them good data. But no, it's reassuring to see that they're asking these questions. And is this Ravensburger asking the questions, or is this Disney asking the questions? I mean, again, it's
That's a
licensed,
great question. I
so
mean,
I
this
don't
is
know.
a Disney survey.
Don't know. I mean, it could be Ravensburger, but naturally, if you scan something in the public, you want some sort of reassurance that it's like a legitimate thing and not just somebody trying to fish for data. But there's a lot of things, a lot of cool things coming down the pipeline, and one of those is this jungle we're about to enter. I would say we're about to enter, but this jungle on the horizon.
That is Wilds Unknown, Disney Lorcana's 12th set that I know Preston is extremely excited for. Extremely excited. And I know, like, we just hit Winterspell, but we always got to look ahead. We always got to look towards the future because this game just keeps producing at a crazy rate and we're constantly moving on to the next thing. But Preston, you are excited about this set that releases on May 8th for pre-release, 1 week later at Big Box Retail, because it introduces one of your favorite sets. Again, your little scream just playing in my head every time we talk about it is
J-Con.
Toy Story. Toy Story is coming to Disney Lorcana in Wilds Unknown. And interestingly, because we love all things Disney here, there was actually a Toy Story 5 trailer that just dropped like a day ago. Not sure if you've seen it yet. My wife definitely saw it and she was very reminded of you. I'm not going to. Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
No, I have not seen it yet. So
Can you do me a favor, Preston? And I know this one might be a little embarrassing, but I need people to go watch the Toy Story trailer right after this. But can you just can you do a slow 360
okay,
for me
so
real
I
quick?
did see a still shot of that. So like I did see that. I thought it was fan made, but no. Woody's balding, is that right?
Yeah, Woody is balding.
Listen, folks, I don't hide it. Like, I'm 30 now. I have lost a lot. Like, I love my career, but if you work in tech, you know. So I have a lot less hair now than what I did 4 or 5 years ago. So,
That and
um,
then when we're making vlog type episodes or whatever, and you got John walking behind us recording everything.
yep. I
It's
knew it was
hard
a
to hide.
thing. I knew it was a thing, but I forget where I was. I think I was at a press event at like Google or something like that, and their media team was there, and they took a photo from the back of the room. This was like 2017, and I was like, "Is that the back of my head?" And like nothing what it is now, but it's getting shaved if it gets bad. I'll say that, but that's
Listen,
neither here nor there.
we're
But
we're all
apparently
Disney adults here.
Woody,
You're not the only one.
apparently Woody is experiencing the same thing, which is kind of I haven't seen it yet, which is cool that like the franchise is aging with I don't
With
know.
the character.
It's with the characters. Yeah. They know their target audience.
But Disney and Pixar will release Toy Story 5, or its theatrical release will actually be on June 19th, 1 month after the release of Wilds Unknown. So this begs the question, will we get another one of those film promo cards that we just talked about, similar to what we got from Moana 2, with the release of Toy Story 5?
It would make sense, but knowing the way Pixar is and how long we had to wait for Pixar and Lorcana, I'm just spitballing, but could there be a stipulation that prevents them from doing that, like a promo card in theater? I don't know. I would like to think no, but
I would like to think that we get one, but this
yes.
is something that I'm interested about. Is the first one we got was I think I misspoke and said Moana. Zootopia 2 was the one where we got the actual film rarity. We did get a card for Moana 2, but it had that just original promo rarity on it. Now, with Moana 2, that card that we got as a promo was a variation or a glimmer of Moana from the second movie. Zootopia 2, that glimmer or promo card or whatever, film card, was a variation of the glimmers from Zootopia 2. If we were to receive one with Toy Story and you follow man, I hate it. I hate it. I follow patterns too much, and Disney Lorcana has done this thing where they're like, "No, quit doing that because the moment you start following a pattern, we're just gonna throw something at you left field."
Yep.
But hypothetically, if we got a film promo for Toy Story 5, look back at the previous 2 we got, you would think that it would actually, like, correspond with the movie itself and be a promo of a variation from that film of Toy Story 5. Man,
Yep.
there's 5 movies. You think that, like, if they're gonna introduce it, that they would start introducing characters from Toy Story 1, maybe Toy Story 2, not 3, 4, or 5 yet, because
Right.
there's 5 films that they can pull characters from. I don't know. It's interesting. And, there's gonna be some products revealed pretty soon for Wilds Unknown 2.
Yep.
Officially revealed in air
Officially
quotes.
revealed. If you know, you know, but we'll save that for next episode.
Right. So again, in March, by then, whenever we come back for that next podcast episode, we'll have plenty to talk about. But for the time being, think that does wrap up our show today, folks. We appreciate you as always for pulling up a seat here at the ink table and joining us as we discuss our own experiences within this realm, within our own LGSs, and just allowing us to share it all with you. We hope that you learn something, whether it be a piece of lore or we just bring smiles to you. As always, if you want to contact us for business inquiries, that means you, Ravensburger, you can email us at podcast@theinktable.com. Join us on the Discord where we're on there. We're available 24/7. Leave a comment. You'll never know whenever we'll message back because we're on there every day, essentially, talking to everybody. And we have
Various
Illumineers
hours
from
today.
all over. Yeah, very at 4 a.m.
I'll meet on the way
uh,
to the airport.
right. But we have illuminators from all over the globe that has joined us there, where we have discussions about everything that we talk about here in these podcast episodes, from helping each other build decks and with our different deck ideas, showing off our collections, simply just talking about films like we just did with Toy Story 5. And if you want some Ink Table merch, which I know none of us are actually wearing today, you can actually head over to the inktable-shop.thefourthwall.com. Oh, John is sick.
I am. I'm
Man,
wearing
I
Yeah.
gotta,
mine. I'm wearing mine.
I spilled spaghetti all over my white one the other day, and I have to repurchase a white Ink Table shirt. So I gotta make my way over there anyways. Um, Besides that, all the links to all of our socials are down in the description. And please be sure that if you're listening to the podcast, no matter where you're listening on your podcast of your choice, that you consider subscribing, liking, and please leave us a review, because it gets us more visibility, more listeners, and brings more people to the table. And as always, folks, there's always a seat for you here. See you next time.
See y'all.
This podcast is part of the Gamers Lounge Radio Network. Get more gaming news and shows at www.the-gamers-lounge.com.